Okay, today is Friday, January 11, 2013. And the fact is, I went and had a hearing test, a legal document ordered by the court. The last time I had a workman's comp hearing, he canceled it because I didn't have an interpreter or a proper hearing device. And I gave him a document showing that I was deaf, but it wasn't a legal document. So yesterday I went and took the examination, and there's no doubt that I'm deaf. And the damage is already done. There's nothing that can be done about it. In fact, it's getting worse. It's ringing off and on, according to the doctor, and he suggested I should wear earplugs. But I can't wear earplugs if I'm driving my car, right? Until I get some hearing aids. The hearing aids I got, they work and they don't work, and they're really old. They're just really old hearing aids. They'll work for the meantime, off and on. But that's all I need is I barely passed the test, and so I can work. There's no problem about going to work. I have a valid license and everything, so there's no reason why they can't put me to work. And there hasn't been. Okay. So anyway, it'll take 2 or 3 weeks for the report to come in. But the fact is, I'm deaf. That's the bottom line. And that's not the reason why I was sent home on December 7th, 2010. It wasn't because I was deaf. It was because I received a notice of offer of work on December 1st, 2010. According to the QME report, I could do my job, in other words, okay? Anyway, they sent me home flat out on December 7th, 2010. And me being deaf then has nothing to do with them flat out sending me home. At least I don't think so. I won't know until we go to court. And I should mention the fact that I had a panel hearing with with Safeway in 2011. Niswonger had a panel hearing, and they stopped the panel hearing. And he took me to the back room, and he wanted to know why I didn't say anything. And I told him that I had a hearing impairment. I have a severe hearing impairment. And he says, well, that's the first I heard of that. But that's not true. My wife knows that I told him that I have a hard time hearing, and that I don't recall exactly, but I'm sure that I mentioned the fact that I had a hearing problem since 2009 or before. But in any event, I told him and the two shop stewards that were present that I had a hearing problem and this and that, and it was a big issue. I don't know what to say. And then I was talking to the shop steward, and I told him, are you an authority on profound hearing impairment? And he was just stunned. He didn't say anything. So the panel hearing was in abyss, and they just flat out sent me home. They never sent me any registered mail in 2010 about my situation, and I called them before Christmas, and Safeway never responded in 10, 20, or 30 days. Nothing. Okay? And I told him I had a hearing problem, and Mr. Niswonger, he said he's going to talk to Safeway about it, whatever, he's going to pursue it, right? Well, they sent me home, and I never heard a thing from them. That was the end of it. And then, and so now I'm bringing it up now because the judge in Workman's Comp said get a legal document. Now I've got 2 documents that say I was deaf. 2 documents. Okay? And so anyway, the union attorney sent me a letter that they're going to deny me arbitration, and I could just pursue it under Workman's Comp because their understanding is I have disability issues. Disability issues, and they're not going to go to arbitration. And if I want to pursue it, I can do it under Workman's Comp. Now, they didn't finish the panel hearing, and they just dumped me right out, and they didn't follow contractual procedures. And then this guy here falsified my documents and everything else, and didn't make me aware like he's supposed to. And the fact that I was deaf, and I asked for a shop steward to be present or somebody to explain to me what the heck's going on. And nothing was done. And there was a lot of drivers in the driver's room. They even asked me, they go, "What's going on? Why is this guy throwing his hands up in the air and I got Zamora and all this stuff?" And I didn't understand a damn thing he was saying. I have no idea. I told him, "I don't know what you're talking about. Man, what's going on?" But the fact is, he didn't make me aware that he altered my logs or changed the time of my logs according to the data machine in the driver's room, which doesn't have a time card. It doesn't do anything. I mean, we're already on duty, but he's saying I wasn't on duty, but the Department of Transportation, the federal government says I was. So who's correct? I have no idea. I just followed DOT according to the contract and according to company policy. And that's what I did. And what he was yelling about, I don't know. Okay? I don't know what he was talking about. And the drivers asked me if I was going to get paid for that day. And they asked me what was going on because I was sitting there all day. And I told them I don't know. I haven't the slightest idea. And then the terminal manager comes over and whispers something to me like I'm supposed to know what he's saying. And I didn't understand one word of what he was saying. And he jumped in his car and he took off the property of Safeway. He just flat out took off. He just whispered it and just took off, whatever he said. So that's it. I was deaf. I received a notice of offer of work on December 1st, which they held it up since October. Agreement made with Workman's Comp to work me for 1 year. We don't have to go through all that. But the point is, they need to return me to work because of the notice of offer of work guaranteeing me 1 year of work. Okay, but now we find out that I'm legally deaf and I have a legal document, so that puts the union in a bad position. I would think so. I don't know for sure until I go to an attorney because I have a document from the union attorney stating the fact that we're not going to hear this case in arbitration. Okay, because we can't win this case. That's what he said. Okay, and that was it. And he sent me a letter and he's saying I was fired on December 16, 2010, but he didn't mention a word about it being denied on December 17, 2010. And he didn't mention a thing about the panel hearing that I mentioned that I had a hearing impairment. Niswonger. The attorney didn't say one darn word about that, but he did say that they were aware of the disability issues, and I sent him documents that I had a hearing impairment. I did everything I could. I responded in 10 days and everything else, but that wasn't acceptable. So I have a legal document. The union is wrong. And Mr. Niswonger, he better get out of that bed of his with Safeway and get me back to work. Because I have a legal document that says I was deaf and I didn't understand what was going on at the panel hearing. And I didn't know what was going on when the dispatcher had me escorted off the property or whatever it is. And he falsified my documents. There's no doubt about it. Okay? So I'm innocent. I'm innocent. There's no doubt about it. I got legal documents now. And that was ordered by the court in Workman's Comp. So I don't know what the union's going to do, but I know Mr. Niswonger better file agreements and everything and complete that panel hearing because Safeway's wrong. They're wrong. They're guilty. They need to be returned to work like 1,500 other Teamsters. Because they didn't respond in 10 days, 20 days, or 30 days. And then James Williams, the terminal manager, he knows this. And why isn't he putting me back to work? I don't know. Is it because I'm deaf? Or what is it? Because he didn't honor the notice of offer of work, and then that dispatcher took my time card or my log sheet or trip sheet or whatever and everything and threw it in the garbage because I didn't get paid for that day. And he's working and I'm not. And he's not deaf. He falsified my logs. He's not supposed to do that. Now, he broke the law. That's a serious thing. And why is he working and I'm not? And I'm the one with the permanent disability according to the QME report. And I could do my customary duties. And I have a permanent disability. There's no reason why I can't work. I didn't do anything wrong. So I don't know how I'm gonna. I don't dare call Niswonger because I don't know what you know. I think that's just a lost cause. You know, I don't know. I'm going to put this on the internet, and I don't know what's going to happen after that. Maybe he'll hear about it. I hope he does, and then maybe he'll go ahead and file the grievance or whatever that the union attorney decides to do. But they're all wrong. They got all their facts wrong. I thought they were supposed to have an investigation. What kind of investigation is that? They didn't prove any evidence. They didn't do nothing, and they violated the labor code. And the fact that they got a legal document, that's not good. They definitely violated the labor code. So, and they violated contractor procedure, and they violated workman comp rules and regulations. Now, I'm not the one that decides whether they did all of that. It's up to the judge. But I'm thinking that they did. So we won't know until we get to court. And the fact that Legal Clinic will get a copy of that. That I'm deaf, and plus they have the notice of work that they're looking into. That's what they said, but the attorney sent me to work, and Mr. Mike Sadler, he just said, I don't know anything about it. And the union said, well, I don't know. At first I heard of it. Every time I turn around, I don't know anything about it. They're in a state of denial. It's a waste of time for me to keep going there and calling them and say, hey, you need to put me to work and this and that. Just a waste of time. They took my lifetime medical away. I got my daughter needs one more year of college, and oh, Jesus Christ, man. You know, so I hope the workman's comp judge, gives me that automatic retirement on my birthday this year. Automatic retirement with a letter saying that I'm retired from Safeway and that I have a permanent disability. Because I can't work there any longer after all this, because they need to pay me from December 7, 2010, back pay and benefits, 14 hours a day, Eureka run, that's what I asked for on the notice of offer of work. That's what I asked for. I didn't my 10 o'clock start. I never worked one day on the 10 o'clock start, and they took 15% away. And now I'm deaf. And they haven't paid me disability payments every week or every 2 weeks. So what's going to outcome of that is I don't know. But they need to put me back to work so I get my lifetime medical. There's no reason for them to keep me off work. Not one. Not one. Nothing. And the guy that falsified my documents, I don't know why he's working and I'm not. Okay, because I didn't do anything wrong. So if he could work, I should work. And if 1,500 other Teamsters are put back to work because they don't file a grievance or do whatever within 10, 20, or 30 days, they're violating step 1 and step 2, null and void, final and binding. So I guess the union attorney better clean this up and look into it, because there's no doubt if the union doesn't get me back to work, I'm going to go to an attorney. I have to. And I don't want to. That's not what this is about. It's about 2 children going to the university. This is all about. It's not about trying to work longer because I'm going to be 73 years old this year. It's got nothing to do with that. Nothing. It's about getting 2 kids through the university. That's it. So they have a chance in life. And I can get that under my belt, and I'm going to feel good about it. That I did all I could so that my children will have a chance in life. Yeah, I'm going to feel good about that. You know what, to be honest with you, I'd love to retire, but I have responsibilities. I have responsibilities to my family and to my children and to myself. They're children. They need a chance. For Christ's sake, this isn't about trying to make more money. I'm happy with what little I have with my Social Security and everything. I don't know what they're saying about me. I'm rattling on because I have no idea what they're saying. I know they're attacking my credibility, and I don't care. They can attack it all they want. It's not true. But hurting my family and me like this is not right. It's wrong. And I got to get my son. Jesus Christ, he needs help. Man, my daughter needs that last year, so I'm fighting back, okay? And I know, like Adam Stewart said, you guys are stubborn. No, I'm not stubborn. I'm just standing up for my rights. I'm standing up for my rights. Do I have any rights? I'm innocent. I'm innocent. Do I have any rights to stand up for my rights if I'm innocent? Or it's just already decided and that's the end of it? No, that's not the end of it. You don't just go hang somebody or electrocute somebody because they're innocent. They got a right to speak up. They got a right to stand up and prove that they're innocent. Well, I proved I'm innocent. So why ain't I back to work? And because I know they got investigators out there and they know I'm innocent. No matter how they look at this thing or flip it around or try to twist it, it is not going to matter because I'm innocent. I got legal documents that show I'm innocent. I should be working. And I know they don't want to pay that back pay, but they're going to have to pay it 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's right, because anybody that works underneath me, according to the contract, has to pay me for that day. And now they put themselves in that position. The dispatcher screwed up. James Woods, the transportation manager, screwed up. And Mike Sadler screwed up. They all screwed up, and the union. So they need to get me back to work. Okay? And that's how I feel. And it's really hard right now. And it's not good. It's not good. So, in the name of Jesus Christ, man, let justice be done.
A double standard is the application of different sets of principles for similar situations or to different people in the same situation. A double standard may take the form of an instance in which certain concepts, often, for example, a word, phrase, social norm, or rule, are perceived as acceptable to be applied by one group of people, but are considered unacceptable, taboo, when applied by another group. The concept of double standard has long been applied, as early as 1872, to different moral structures on men versus women. A double standard, thus, can be described as a sort of biased, morality unfair suspension toward a certain group of the principle that all are equal in their freedoms. Such double standards are seen as unjustified because they violate a basic maxim of modern legal jurisprudence that all parties should stand equal before the law. Double standard also violates the principle of justice, known as impartiality, which is based on the assumption that the same standard should be applied to all people without regard to subjective bias or favoritism based on social, class, rank, ethnicity, gender, religion, sexual orientation, age, or other distinctions. A double standard violates this principle by holding different people accountable according to different standards. The phrase "life is not fair" may be invoked in order to mollify concerns over double standards. There is a distinction to be made between double standards and hypocrisy, which implies the stated or presumed acceptance of a single standard a person claims to hold himself or herself accountable to, but which, in practice, may be disregarded. Being hypocritical to the double standard is then a positive example of hypocrisy as well. Though the term double standard is of relatively recent origins, the concept expressed by it has existed in various cultures from far earlier times. For example, Jewish tradition has interpreted in this light the biblical injunction in Deuteronomy 25:13-15. Do not have two differing measures in your house. one large, one small. Do not have two differing weights in your bag, one heavy, one light. You must have accurate and honest weights and measures, so that you may live long in the land of the Lord, your God, is giving you. The modern Hebrew term for double standard is derived from this biblical verse, Iphia v. Iphia, literally, two differing measures. In the interest of justice, I hope that Judge Grill considers this, so that let justice be done in the interest of justice.